getting moments, precious moments with them. So what is something that you think you can do differently now, understanding a little bit more about the gems? How does this help? Why does it matter?
Because you can, like for Joyce, that she hoards, but this is, now understand that she thinks this is her stuff, instead of just taking things to hoard.
Right.
So it kind of opens your eyes that, hey, this is not how she's thinking of this stuff as, so you approach her differently regarding it.
Right, and remember we said that the Ambers, well, Tifa had said that the Ambers, this is when the family members are really starting to see, this is not my mother. This is not my father. Because they're having these kind of reactions to their surrounding that's like, this isn't normal, this is not what we've seen our whole lives. Sometimes we just see behaviors exasperating. Things they've done their whole lives are just now very, very much present.
And something that just on it, like Janet, that we said for the pearl, they said about the curse words. Oh, she curses like a sailor now. And like Cliff commented, she swears all the time, and she never swore a day in her life before that.
Wow.
So
That's
is
embedded real
really,
deep, like we said. So what else? Why does this matter? How will this make things different for you?
Well, I don't know, for me, with Clarence, for example, he is, that room is a major task, but by understanding him even a little more with this, it makes you a little more cautious as to, maybe I better go back and check for the third time, or maybe I had just better really take a look, because there was a couple times I had to go to the nurse's aides to let them be aware of, and I think she remembers this too, that we've got a real issue going on, that I can help get someone there to help him so that I can finish doing what I have to do.
Right. So maybe when we're working with people, instead of just being like, oh, he's stubborn, oh, he's in a bad mood, oh, whatever, understanding, this is actually just something he's going through, he can't help. So what can I do? I can change my approach. I can come back later, maybe when he forgets who I am. I can do things differently, because who needs to change? In any of these scenarios, that situations are not going the way we want them to, who needs to change?
Us.
Yes. Because oftentimes the behaviors that we see, why are they happening?
Because
Because
her
of
brain's
us,
deteriorating, and it's dying off.
Because their brain's deteriorating in the way we approach them. It's us. A lot of times what's happening, you don't mean to do it, I don't mean to do it, you guys are doing the best you can with the best knowledge that you have. But the reality is, we oftentimes create behaviors by the way we're working with them. So if you're working with a diamond who has a sense of authority and that they are perfectly fine and everything's fine, and you're trying to get them dressed and how do you think that's gonna go?
Not very good.
Not very well. What if you have a diamond and across the hall you have an amber? And Amber's like into the diamond's room constantly, getting into their stuff, taking their, how do you think that's gonna go?
Not so well.
Not so well. So it's important for us to be able to look at these gems, not to put somebody just into a classification and walk away, but to understand how we can do things differently to help them, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do next is, or does anyone have any questions on the gems? Any thoughts?
I have one.
Sure.
When it comes to the gems, and especially when we're talking about, and knowing what I do, I am not a CNA, but I still kind of help oversee and kind of guide when I can, when a nurse's aide is not available.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in there and I'm watching maybe a little more in detail of something that I see that I didn't notice an hour or two before. The support that we need on our end to make things cleaner and better for them, for the room, so that if family members come, if state is here, we just need a little more support about how to do our job better.
Yep. And that's exactly why we have these trainings. That's exactly why housekeeping is here, right? I mean, to some people would be like, I'm not a direct care staff, but you are. You're in their rooms just as often as CNAs are. You're working with them just as often as CNAs are. So that's why this is your support. This is what we're here to help you with. Want to press pause or stop on that for a little while? So we talked this morning about your 5 senses. What are they? Your 5 senses and the way you prefer to get them in. Visual, verbal, touch,
Smell.
taste. Very good. Visual, verbal, touch, smell, taste. Okay, so we're gonna talk about our vision, first of all, because I know I mentioned this before, but I think it's very important that we have this conversation because visual changes are huge. So we remember our diamond, or our gems, correct? So everybody take your hands and go like this. Look forward. So all the way up. You might have to stand up, you might have to whatever, don't knock over your neighbors. How many of you, while looking forward, can see your fingers?
I can see movement.
I can't. So this is a normal visual field for a 25-year-old. 180 degrees. They should be able to see both of their hands while looking forward.
I'm 22 and I can't.
Well, then you're not a normal 5-year-old or 25-year-old. I'm just kidding. So then you're gonna move in your hands to about here. Make a big circle. Right? This is normal aging. 145 degrees. So put your hands in a little bit more, Jen. Out here. Now go like this. This is normal aging. Anything you notice about that?
My hands are getting tired. My arms are sore.
Anybody
It's much
notice?
smaller.
It's a lot smaller, but then anybody notice that where your hand is here? What can you not see so well?
Your foot.
Your foot. What's your foot on?
The floor.
The floor. Very good. So we're starting to lose that. Probably why falls are so increased as we age. So that's a 75-year-old normal aging. Diamonds. Scuba mask. So go like this. Take your fingers. Maybe look down a little bit to get a better idea of what that is. That's called a scuba mask. Emeralds. Remember what we said about emeralds in language? We're looking at 1 of 4 words. We're looking at people who typically a lot of times still live at home. This is when people are just starting to realize something's not right here. They have what we call binocular. So take your hands, go like this, and look out that. See that? Your ambers and your rubies, you're looking at monocular. So this is what we're looking at. Close one eye.
Oh, close one eye.
Yeah. Yep. So that changes a lot. I'm gonna give you guys these two.
Tanning glasses.
Yes, they're not as fun as they look. This is usually the part people don't like the most.
See all of them.
I know, isn't it great? Huh? Turn the tanning bed on?
Where's the
Oh, these
tanning
would-
lotion?
I don't have that. So what did you guys notice, or how did that feel to be looking at that, looking at visual fields in that way?
Can't see.
You get restricted.
You get restricted, you couldn't see anything.
With the glasses on.
How would that affect you? If this was your visual field, how would that affect you?
It could get you irritated.
Yeah.
You could get perplexed if you can't see everywhere that you want to see.
So you might get perplexed because you're in a situation where things are kind of coming out of nowhere at you, right?
Yep.
They're not there, then they're there. Frustrated, what else?
I can't talk when I can't see.
You can't even talk when you can't see.
It's hard, I gotta hold on to things, I'll fall over.
How do you think that would affect the way you're working with someone or approaching someone?
Cause you need.
How should it affect?
You don't wanna come from the side. because they're not gonna see you, you wanna be directly.
So you wanna be in their visual field, right? You want them to be able to see you. How many of you knew that about visual field before you walked in here? That your visual field was changed that much? So one out of 7, actually.
I noticed a lot of people approach the residents from the back too instead of in the front of them,
Yeah, and we're
or
gonna
from the
talk about
side.
that.
and they jump.
So, what do you think that individuals who are having this change in their vision, what do you think they're missing, and what do you think might be heightened?
Their hearing is gonna be heightened.
Heightened, yep.
Yeah, so maybe their other senses are heightened. It's kind of a natural thing that we notice in people. What are they gonna be missing?
Mm.
A whole lot. Put those goggles back on and look around you.
I can't see anything, then I'm blind. Like literally.
Oh, I suppose because you can't.
I am totally blind. I see like flashes of light.
Did you try to hold them up in front of your glasses?
Really?
So
That's
what?
I tried to, so I could at least get an idea.
Put your glasses over.
What have you seen people living with dementia do that supports this? What have you seen someone do that now you're like, oh, that's why they did that? You ever see anyone do anything related to the vision changes?
My aunt used to swing it if she couldn't see you, and all of a sudden you were there. She used to swing at you.
So she would hit you if you ended up in her vision too fast.
Right.
Yep. So that is one thing that we're gonna see. We're gonna see combativeness if we're not appropriately approaching someone. Ever notice anything at the dinner table?
Can't find their, they can't find their food on their plates.
They can't find their fork and spoon, but what can they find?
The food.
The food.
Whose food?
Somebody else's.
Somebody else's. Do you ever notice what they see is the food across from them and not the food below them?
Mm-hmm.
Put your binoculars back on. Hunch over, look at the table. What do you see? Are you seeing this? Or are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
The paper.
Or this?
Oh, yeah, cause they don't typically, they won't bend, if you don't bend your head down, then you see like out in front
Ever
of you
notice
one.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Taking food from somebody else's plate?
Bruno's good at that.
Yep. You can't
Bruno's
see.
always grabbing the people's silver.
Because that's what he can see. What about when they're walking? Did you ever notice anything interesting about when people with dementia walk? That could be related to visual changes.
That they walk one way.
Smaller steps, that's part of that's part of a shuffle that we see. They're kind of
Their
changing
head
gait.
is always down.
Yep, their bodies are a little more hunched over. Have you ever seen anyone do this? Before they stepped?
Oh, I've not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty good about having floors that don't change huge here, but if you put a dark mat in front of them, oftentimes they'll do. My mother-in-law or my stepmom used to do it. I've seen Barb do it,
Pat
where
Olson
she
used
didn't
to
know
do
if she
it.
was supposed to step. It looks like a hole.
Yeah, is that where they put like a black hole in the thing and everybody will walk around it?
Yeah.
And it walks.
They think it's a hole.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Because of that vision change. So, I don't know why I just blinked here. What can we do to make them not be combative? To not be eating off someone else's plate? To not be tripping or doing one of these when they're walking? What can we do differently? Move their plate farther, so make sure that it's actually in their visual field. If you notice that somebody's constantly grabbing silverware over here,
Redirection.
maybe put their silverware over there. So what I want you guys to try, and this is where the partners would be so much better, but I'll do it to Jennifer. And then I'm gonna have you guys try this too. So we're gonna talk about a traditional approach. So what I want you guys to do is, you know what, I'm not gonna do it to you yet actually. I'm gonna have partner A put on goggles, Are you partner A or B?
B.
Okay, so you can do it to me first. Partner A, put on goggles. You guys can come, either move your chair, sit up. All I want you to do is walk up to somebody who's in a wheelchair, like you would now. You're gonna just come in and say hello. I just want you to do that, okay?
Oh, we
With
don't need
these
to
on?
put goggles on?
The person who's sitting should put the goggles on, so I can put the goggles on.
And then I need to
And
come
you're just gonna come, give me my meds or whatever it is that you would
with
normally.
my goggles on?
No, you won't have goggles on.
You might want to sit. You have to sit.
No.
I have to sit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, good, because I don't know if I can see where the heck I'm going.
And then I'm.
You put them on?
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
Remember to hunch your backs just a little bit. I mean, we're sitting in wheelchairs all day. We're not-
Oh,
They're poking my eyeballs.
I know they hurt.
Okay.
Oh, these are
That
not-
was not me. Usually I'll put my shoulder here. Hi, Helen.
So, I mean, do that. Actually do it. Walk up to people like you would now. Do you walk over a table when you meet with people?
No, I walk this way.
Oh, then go. Oh, all right, go ahead.
'Cause I usually walk in front of them and put my hand out. Open their hands or
Okay.
something.
So switch people when you guys have actually done that, when you've come in and switch your people.
Yeah, you gotta like crawl on the floor.
Hello.
Hey,
This is
Jennifer.
like really small.
No, I know they are.
Okay. That's the one.
I just go like this.
You wanna sit on the
So
floor?
I want,
See, though you, I thought you were low, but you still were not in my vision all the way.
no, I
Like
wasn't.
Yeah.
So tell me, tell me what happened. What did you experience? What did you see? What happened?
I saw your shoes first.
What did you say?
I saw her shoes first.
Okay, you couldn't see her, you saw her shoes first.
If I can do this, I don't know if I can see through here.
What
Well,
else?
she's short, so I
So
really
you
have
want
to
me
go
to
down
crawl
there.
up to the-
She has to sit on the floor.
No, I don't want you to do that
I
either.
feel like that's how low you have to be.
You have to.
So that's the first thing we noticed, that is that our, what we think is their visual field is not their visual field, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Right. So did we all have the same experience where
It was
someone was
way
talking to us, but we could not see them?
Right.
She came down, and how did that work for you? Oh, it was? So, did she seem like a normal size?
No, she kind of crouched down to my level.
Did anyone see the person in their actual goggles?
Like.
Yeah.
You did?
Mhm.
How did she seem to you? What happened?
That person was smaller, I'll bet you.
What was her size?
I bet you.
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Like,
put your hand, just do this. All right. Just put your hand, just put your hand in front of her. How does that look? How does that appear to you?
Gotta be small.
It's just like
Kinda small.
really in my face.
It's in your face,
face,
it's
yeah.
big. It's
Big
because
in
your
your face.
visual field is so small. When someone's face takes up
Oh,
the
it's kinda
entire
cut.
visual field, they look
You're like
big.
in
Go
the
like
middle.
this.
And they look like they're coming pretty quick, don't they?
Mhm.
Like all of a sudden my hand was in front of your face and it was like, ah! Right. So there's two types of what we call stances. So how do you think, once you've approached someone, once you're in an actual approach position, how should you be standing next to that person? Or how should you be standing around that person? Or sitting around that person? Where should you be in position to the person?
In front
In front of them, right? That's what everyone says, right? Okay, so come back over. I told you this works a lot better when there's even numbers. So what I want everybody to do is, one of you is gonna sit down and I want the other one of you to just walk up and sit in front of them. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk up and I'm gonna do this, okay? Go for it.
With our glasses on?
You can leave your glasses off, that's fine.
I can't get that.
Oh, turn your chair this way. So I just gotta walk up and sit in front of you?
You can switch.
Walk up.
You can turn.
And sit in front of you on my phone.
good exercise.
So what's your reaction to that situation?
Like,
So
oh, hey,
laughing.
they actually mean this, like, they
Yeah.
actually talk.
So she felt like you want to actually talk. I overheard what you said. Why did you tell them? What did you
I
say?
remember. Scared, she looked
It-
determined for some
It's,
reason.
it scared
She
her.
wanted something.
She actually didn't like it.
Yeah. I don't think
There was somebody like right up in her business.
Well, that was what I was gonna say. It seemed like you, even though I didn't have my glass, that it's like, oh, she's really close. It's like getting into somebody's personal space.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's what we're told, right? Always approach in the front. What about, now I want you to do it again. I told you you're not gonna sit a lot this afternoon, so just get used to it. So what if I walked up to you and instead of going right here, like this, which by the way is called confrontational stance, what if I came in and went like this? Try that.
much better.
On the side.
That's
called supportive stance. Confrontational stance is in the front, supportive stance is on the side.
I'm gonna make sure she's in the video. On the side.
Yeah.
A lot better.
Yes.
I think
Very
so,
much.
Is that okay?
She was hesitant.
So how did that feel?
That's
A
much
lot
better.
better.
That was much better. Why? What makes it better? What's the difference between the two stances?
You're not right in my face.
I'm not in your face.
You're not walking as fast towards the person,
So you might not feel like I'm rushing you.
right?
Yeah.
What else?
It's a softer approach.
It's softer.
Softer.
And it's like you're being personable, that you're caring about them because you're
Yeah.
right next to them.
Okay.
Like, I feel like when you're in somebody's face, you want to like yell at them.
Which is why we call it the confrontational versus the supportive stance. And there are very good reasons for that. So what does the person in the chair have the option to do if I'm on the side that they don't if I'm on the front?
Leave.
Walk
Leave.
away.
Who is in control of the interaction if I am on the side of you versus in front of you?
They are.
President.
The resident. So remember we talked earlier today about that agenda, right? We got this agenda, we need to hide it. We need to find a way to complete that agenda, but hide that agenda. That is one way to do it. It's still an approach. We're still where we need to be, right? We're still having an interaction with that resident, but instead of confronting them, we're supporting them. We're not doing things to them, we're doing things with them. And if they don't like it, they still, even if they don't have the capability, have the mentality of being able to leave. Like, you are not blocking me and I can leave. Okay, so I want to do an exercise here. Because what did we talk about are the ways in which to have an interaction with someone? What needs to happen first? Huh?
To see you.
Visual. They need to be able to see you. Then what?
Knock and announce yourself.
Hear you.
Huh?
Hear you.
Verbal. Then what? Visual, verbal,
Touch.
touch. Can I touch you if I have not done a visual and a verbal?
No.
No. Okay. So this is called positive physical approach. And there's actually a way to get into this. You have a sheet on this. It should be your next sheet. This is incredibly simple. Incredibly simple. But do you think that when you leave here, you should just be able to do this with any resident? It's going to go fine?
No.
No.
The answer is no. It's not going to happen. You need to practice it, just like anything else. So, excuse me. We have 3 types of space, and you actually mentioned it. So what are the 3 types of space that we have?
Personal space.
Personal is one of them. Public and intimate. So what do we do in public space? If you and I are together and I'm in public space, so I'm at least 6 feet from you, what would we do?
Converse.
We may converse, but probably not. Say we're in Walmart right now.
Oh, okay.
So we're in Walmart right now. What would we do from here? Public space.
Just wave.
Wave.
Hey, smile. What do we do in personal space?
Is that where?
This is where we talk, right? We go out to dinner. What do you do in intimate space?
Touch.
Touch, right. So we have public, personal, intimate, visual, verbal, touch. So public is about 6 feet out. It's not as far out as we might think. Personal is anything in your arm's length, and intimate is obviously your actual body. So what we're gonna do is the positive physical approach checklist, which you guys have. So when you're about 6 feet out, so you're a resident, you can put your goggles on. I'm gonna make you guys do this, so just get ready and watch. So I'm about 6 feet out and it's Jennifer,
Hi.
hey. What did you notice about this? What did I do?
Usually when you wave, you like wave up here, but you're
You knocked.
I knocked, I waved. But I didn't wave like this. Why?
because can't see it there.
What do I want her to pay attention to?
Your hand.
What do I want her to pay attention to?
You.
Face.
Oh.
I want her to pay attention to me.
Your face.
So instead of doing this, which what are you looking at right now, Jennifer?
You in your hand.
Yeah. What are you looking at now?
You in your hand.
Your face.
Your
Are you
face.
paying more attention to my face this time though, than
Sure.
if it's like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna,
Sure.
so knock, knock, knock. Jennifer, hey.
Hey.
I'm gonna walk in, offer her my hand when I get to about, hey, look what she did. What did she just give me?
Her hand.
What does that mean?
She's welcoming you, like she's willing to.
She's giving me
Your attention.
permission.
Permission.
She's giving me permission to touch her. So Jennifer, hey. And Jennifer doesn't give me her hand.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Nope.
Go away.
She doesn't want to touch.
That
She
you
doesn't
don't
want
wanna
to touch me. She's not okay with me touching her right now. So then what do? Well, Jennifer,
No.
No, you don't touch her.
no. I don't have her permission to touch her. So it's 6 feet. Jennifer, hey.
Hi. Am I allowed to give you my
You
hand?
can do whatever you want at this point. She's gonna give me your hand. I'm gonna go into supportive stance. Hi. You found good. You found good. So I want you guys to practice that. What we're going into with the actual handshake is hand under hand. And we will practice that more in just a second. I just want you to practice that 6 feet away, hand at your face, not waving. Once you get into personal space, you're offering your hand, and then you're in intimate space with permission. Okay? Try that. Multiple times.
Who's going first? Me.
I'll put the glasses.
Alright.
Do we have to wear the glasses? These uncomfortable things?
It's better if you wear the glasses because you get full effect.
Yeah, but they hurt your eyeglasses.
I asked if you wanted to go first, but you wanted me to go first.
I don't think you
Do you want a can more?
Okay.
Hi.
You see me?
My hands are really sweaty.
Hi, Donna.
These things suck. I can't see nothing.
You're making me wanna.
First.
They like sink into my eyes.
Do you see my hand? Oh, I do now.
I know.
Can you zoom in?
Yep.
I'm not down here or up there.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
Hi. Now we gotta go over like this? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
get my attention.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that, are we doing that right?
I think so.
Try that.
Okay.
And then just
Stand up. Yep.
Ha,
So
I did
hand
it
in
right.
the face,
Okay.
offer your hand at about 3 feet out, and then in on the side.
Okay. You put yours on. That thing's terrible.
Okay, so the question is, do you have to crouch down? Do it to her, don't crouch down. Yeah, so
They sink into your
do the
eyeball.
same thing, but don't crouch down. Tell me what happens here.
I can't. Your belly is in the wall.
Well, not crouch down, but like go like this and then just kind of go like this. Not all the way down.
Like
because
bend
if I
down?
go all the way down, I won't get back up.
Yep, you gotta do what you gotta do, you just gotta remember what you're putting in that particular situation with the sweatshirt on right now, it's not happening, but I'll just do what you just did. Jennifer, hey,
Hi.
Flash show.
what do you see right now, Jennifer?
Believe it.
You do. That's what they're gonna see is we're giving them like, cause scrubs are so loose.
Start
So
wearing your
unless you have
turtlenecks,
something
girls.
Underneath there.
Wait, here, let me pull it out.
So one of the things you can do is, and it's not always possible, but you can try to have a chair. You know, maybe like grab a chair quick and pull it with you, or try to approach people in a situation where that is possible. So when you're in their room trying to approach them, or when you're giving them medications, do your best. Obviously, if you get down and you can't get back up, well, we don't want that either. But
Then
be
you need
cognizant of where you are and how you're presenting your body at that point.
We need to work on our squats, I guess.
Yeah,
I need new knees then.
Yeah, I already got one, I just need the other.
Mine are rolling around.
oh, yeah, so try doing more, you know, maybe when you're coming in like this and you're offering, just being more like this, you know, something to just keep you more at eye level with them without ruining your knees
Giving them cleavage.
or giving them cleavage.
See, that's my thing, cause I can't squat like you know, you squat down. I have to put a knee down. But I know that's not good either because you're not supposed to touch the floor.
Yeah. There's always that.
So I have.
But I try, so one of the
You can't
things,
go ruin.
what hand do you shake hands with?
Right.
You're right. Who shakes hands with their left?
Left-handed people.
No one shakes hands with their left. Left-handed people shake hands with their right.
Do
I
they?
always,
Yes. So do you think it's important or unimportant to know someone's dominant side?
I'll shake with the right.
If they shake with the right, correct. But if, once we get in there and we wanna do stuff with them, do you think dominant side matters?
Yeah, for certain
Well, yeah.
things.
Absolutely.
Say they're
Sure.
If I'm right-handed and you're trying to help me brush my teeth with my left hand, I'm
Yeah.
like, what in the world? So that's tricky, right? Cause you gotta be able to get in on the hand that they actually use.
I do.
How do you know what someone's dominant side is? How would you find that out?
It's in their chart.
No, that wouldn't be on that care plan, but
It could be,
if you just watch them enough, like.
but if you could watch them, but it's a brand new situation. They just got here 10 minutes ago. You gotta go in and work with them. They've got dementia. You know they have dementia. You need to be able to approach them. How do you figure out what side is their dominant side?
Give them a glass.
When you try to greet them and to see which hand they would put out first, if you were to go up to them and approach them and just say hello and like what you were talking about, so whatever hand, if you had your hand out or something like that, you'd go dominant.